Thank you guys for being here and supporting me and just be with the Lord as well. And we actually have another special guest here as well who drove 2.5 hours to come see me and hear me preach. And she discipled me in Chicago. Christy, she's over there, so please welcome her. So like Tiffany said, we're going to talk about every student welcomes. So Chi Alpha has 4 different mission statements. Like she already basically preached my sermon right here. The whole thing. Every student gives, welcomes, prays, and goes. And tonight we're going to talk about every student welcomes. So we're going to be like a triad. A triad is a group of 3. And you're going to share your name, major, and where you live. And also, like, have you ever walked in a group where you are a new person? Share a story about what that was like. So take about like 5 minutes. Be with people that you, of course, don't know, so you can welcome them here. Hint. If I'm too quiet, please let me know. I'm European. I'm not that loud. What? Okay. So please share a story. Has anyone ever been new in a room, in a group? How was that like? What did you share with your group?
For me, I think when I first came into like Ivy Tech, I didn't know anyone, so I was like nervous. I'm like, okay, who are these people? What are they doing here? But I shared the story of like how I found Chi Alpha, because I remember I was sitting in the cafeteria and I went over to a table because I think Tracy might have been here, but you were there, yeah. We were doing a Bible study and I went over to the table. Him was there, yeah. But I went over to the Bible study and then I left like shortly after because I'm like, okay, I don't want to do this at all. And then I went back to the table and I ended up staying there for Bible study. And then afterwards I went to the Walnut Bread and I just got hooked up in there. So.
You never left?
Nope.
That's awesome. Who else? Someone else who would like to share?
I didn't share this with the group because we ran out of time.
Uh-huh.
I was just sitting alone one time at a table, and I felt a tap on my shoulder one day. I turned around and it was Ashley, and she asked if I wanted to join the group, and so that's how I came to.
That's great.
Interacting with this group, and she's discipling me.
See, that's what's welcoming all about. Anyone else?
Me. Well, I remember, I already ran into some tall girl named Marlou.
Is she awesome?
Well, she doesn't like being called by her real name, Marlena. But anyway, first I saw her, she was there serving at a hot chocolate one day, and I remember asking like what was Chi Alpha, and then she told me about it, and then she mentions eventually later on that they were going to play monster mini golf, and I remember her picking me up at work at Menards when I was done, and then going into a room full of scary clowns and scarier clowns.
Yeah, Tiffany was there too, by the way.
You were the scariest one of them all.
Oh, yes.
Oh yeah, it was.
Yes.
It wasn't hot chocolate. It was some confection. But
Same.
anyway, it's not the first time I've been in a group where everyone was a stranger. So.
That's awesome, and now you're here. So I have a story myself as well. My story is about being unwelcomed. When I just became a believer, I went home to the Netherlands. It was like 3 weeks after I got to know the Lord. And I wanted to find a church, so in my 3 weeks when I'm home, I still want to be connected with God, and in my own language is always a little bit different, because I speak Dutch, not English, and trying to find a similar church as where I'm going here right now, an Assemblies of God church. And to find a church in Europe is very hard. It's basically, my church is in a cafeteria of a high school. So it's not a church building, literally a cafeteria of a high school, or maybe 30 people. So I walk in, and I forgot my Europeanness, that I walk in, the lady just shakes my hand and kisses me on the cheek like 3 times, and I'm like, whoa, what's going on? And I completely forgot about it. And normally we only do that with like family or friends. So I came in and sat down. And it's a small church, everyone knows each other. So they need to know I'm new. They have to know because it's always the same group of people. And no one talked to me. No one. I was like, maybe afterwards. There's free coffee because it's Europe, free coffee. And some cookies. And everyone has like group over here, group over there. All groups. I'm standing here, right here by myself. It's obvious I have no one to talk to. I felt so awkward. Not one word has been said to me. Not one. So I left and I was like, I'm never coming back here because it's just, why would I come back because no one seemed to care? And actually it's really funny, well not really funny, but a year later, I go home once a year. So I go to the same church and then they ask me again, are you new? I was like, I have been here before. They didn't recognize me at all. But that's okay, I've been gone for a year. But that's just how it is. How to feel really unwelcomed and it's not fun. That's not fun. So for me, I was like, I'd rather not coming back. Well, I would like to pray before we get started. So dear God, I just want to thank you for bringing everyone here today, Lord. Bringing even the nations here to this room, to this campus, Lord God, and that you care about each and every person here in this room. You knew them better than I know them. You know every hair on their head, Lord God. And God, you're just awesome, Lord. And I pray for your presence here in this place, Lord, and that you will speak to people individually, Lord God. God, I just want to thank you for who you are, Lord. In Jesus' name I pray. Amen.
Amen. Aren't the cathedral well, like all over Europe?
So what does the word welcome actually mean? It actually means to greet someone in a friendly way. And it is very important to greet people. Just like I told you in my story, I didn't get greeted, so I felt and I'm very introverted. So it's very scary already for me to just even go to a place that I've never been before. And there are people here new today at the worship and the word. They probably don't know anyone here. Or people at game night that just walk in like, hey, would love to play games, but they don't know anyone. Or you bring a person with you somewhere and that person doesn't know anyone. And they will feel really awkward because they're already going out of their comfort zone just to be there. And if no one is coming up to them, that makes it even more awkward. They're unwelcomed. If it's just as simple like, hey, how are you doing? My name is Marlo, and you just introduce yourself, that comes a long way. It seems like you care. It seems like you care about the person. It's just a simple question. What are you studying? You're here at Ivy Tech at a school. So, just simple, what are you studying? That's an easy conversation. And it makes it feel, the person that's new, like you actually care, you want me here. When I went to church, no one asked me a question. I was like, I feel really unwanted and very unwelcomed. So it's just important for all of us, just a simple, hello, how are you? My name is Marlo and I'm studying business management. What are you studying? What is your name? So I found this quote on the national website of Chi Alpha, National Chi Alpha. And it says, the beauty of going to a university or community college counts too, is that you are headed to the mission field. Instead of going to the world is coming to you. People tend to forget that wherever we go, that's a missions field. People sitting next to us in class, that's our missions field. People in the same cafeteria where we're eating is our missions field. When we walk to class, that can be our missions field. And overseas and mission trips are great, but our missions field is right here because we're here five days a week. During the whole school year, we're here and we can reach so many new people. Ivy Tech is a very small campus, like you guys know, and Purdue has 9,000 international students. But Ivy Tech has 200 international students representing 18 different countries. I went to community college myself, and I think we maybe had 5 international students. And you guys have, we have 200. Isn't it just awesome? Just 18 different nationalities, 200 students. It's just, I was amazed. I wish I had a community college like that with more international students. And it seemed like, and it shows that God cares about every campus. Ivy Tech is small, but He cares about Ivy Tech. He loves the students here. He knows every single international student by name, all the 200. He knows exactly where they're from, their name, They know even their parents. If you just think about it, God loves them very much, and everyone is worthy of Jesus. So here in Acts 17, 26 through 27, it says, "From one man he created all the nations throughout the whole earth. He decided beforehand when they should rise and fall, and he determined their boundaries. His purpose was for the nations to seek after God, and perhaps feel their way toward him, and find him, though he's not far from any of us." God put international students here for a reason. He is bringing them from wherever they are, all the way in the middle of nowhere. In the middle of Indiana, Lafayette, Indiana. In a different version, and actually said the version that I read is called the CEV. It's an easy English version. And it says that God created all these nations so that we will look for him and will reach out to him. And Lafayette is not like New York City that has so many international students. It's very attractive. Like, I've never heard of Lafayette until Tiffany moved here. And God puts those international students here with a purpose. This might be their only chance to learn about who Jesus is. It might be even their first time for them to even ever heard what Jesus has done for us. And the only reason why international students are here is to meet Jesus. I was an international student myself. I left my country at the age of 18. I left the Netherlands to pursue a dream, and my dream was to play basketball in the United States. Because basketball is a very big sport here, and everyone wants to go there. The Netherlands just sucks in basketball, it's more soccer. Even at that moment, we still suck there right now too. But every international student comes here with a dream. They are not here just because they were like, well, let's make it very uncomfortable for myself and just leave my country. They're not doing that. They're here because they have a purpose and a dream they want to pursue. They're here to maybe play sports. They're here to get a degree. Maybe to even travel around the United States as well. There are many reasons why international students want to be here. People tend to not want to go out of their comfort zone, but international students go way far away from that. They're very out of their comfort zone. Especially as you're introverted. Me, I never could even go away for one night. One night and I was crying, and I'm here it's my 5th year. Every student here has a dream. And it's already hard to leave your whole country behind. Have your friends and family over there, your culture, your language, to move to a different country where you don't know anyone. Even in a second language. And if you're not getting welcomed, it makes it so much harder. Because it seems like people don't care, and the people that actually care about you are thousands of miles away. I came here not knowing anyone. I didn't even know where I was going to live. I didn't know nothing because I was actually going to a whole different school, but I didn't pass my English test for some reason. And I ended up stepping on a plane, not knowing my teammates, not knowing even literally where I'm going to live, don't even know the school. I knew the name, but even though I never heard of Quincy, Illinois, because I was also like in the middle of nowhere. And I came here with one suitcase. Came here with one suitcase for a whole year. Can you imagine? And that's all I had. So my own story is about to be unwelcomed, but also how it is to be welcomed. I want to show you a picture about my family really quick. So here's my mom, my dad, my brother, and of course the dog. Most important is my dog. I always talk about my dog. So they're over there in the Netherlands right now, and they know I'm preaching, and I miss them a lot. So my story started in August 14, 2013. I came here to the United States. Oh, wait, well, the Netherlands, in case people don't know where it is, that little dot right there. I know you don't see, that's why it's like a pin, otherwise it's too tiny. It's actually smaller than the state of Illinois, if you think about it. We're very populated. And this is me, fresh from the boat. My first few days, look at those pink pants, very European. So And this is literally like, this was actually my birthday, like 3 days after I came. I got Americanized. That's what happened.
We look like homeless people. It's just the fact of life.
Look at me now. But I have those pants. I do still have them, but Tiffany is embarrassed when I wear them. So I blame Tiffany for this. So my story started August 14th, 2013. It's 4.5 years ago, the day that I left my country. I felt sick. I've never felt this sick before. Like I said, I couldn't even leave my house for one night. I was homesick already. And I want to go for a whole year, maybe 2 years, to go to a community college that I even didn't intend to go to. Because I want to go to Rhode Island, closer to New York City. That's what I wanted to do. But I didn't pass my English test twice. Well, I'm going the wrong way. Oh well. This is better to look at. Like Brian said, you rather want to see this than this. So I already visited my school in Rhode Island. I already knew the people. I already knew coach. I knew where I was going to live. I knew it all. I went to visit with my mom, but that didn't happen. Within 6 weeks before I needed to leave, I was going to switch basketball teams. I got accepted in a university in the Netherlands, and I was going to go there. But then my new coach was like, I thought you were going to go to the United States. And I was like, yeah, well, a little embarrassing. Didn't pass my English test. It's pretty, people told me I was going to pass easily. I did not. I tried twice and it was a disaster. So last minute, I ended up going to Quincy, Illinois, because my new coach in the Netherlands knew someone in Quincy, Illinois, because he's been to the Netherlands. Let me tell you, I've never heard of Quincy. Nor did I really know what Illinois was, until my dad said it's Chicago. I was like, oh, I know that. Like I said, this time I didn't know no one. Not one single person. I Skyped with my coach maybe two times, because I want to have a little bit knowing who I'm going to talk to and who's picking me up, because he's picking me up from the airport. I need to know who I'm looking at. I also don't know where I was going to live until I basically when I was in Quincy, they told me where I was going to live. Never seen the school. Didn't know, like I said, didn't know nothing. And that was one of the scariest things I've ever done. Can you imagine living in a country, not even knowing where you're going, where you're going to stay? Can you imagine how that feels like?
That would be scary.
It is pretty scary.
I bet.
I had a lot of anxiety. And the language was very hard to understand, especially when all of people trying to talk at the same time. I was translating word for word when people talk to me and when I need to talk back. And let me tell you, that's exhausting. And then on top of that, playing basketball, and we have all those terms in Dutch. And then it's in English, and I have no clue what that means.
You're saying you don't like our accent.
That's also very hard to understand. In the first few days of the United States, like I said, I landed the 14th. My birthday is the 17th. So like 3 days later. And let me tell you, birthdays are a big deal in the Netherlands. In most countries, they are. So I was very worried. I've never celebrated any birthday without my family. Never. So I was very nervous. And my teammates and my coach bought an ice cream cake. Let me tell you, I did not know that existed. But on top of that, they put ice cream on top of the ice cream cake. I was like, what's up with this? I thought it was the weirdest thing, but I'm not complaining, it's ice cream, so. They threw a party for me, and my other teammate's birthday was as well, like a day before. We celebrated together. And I just came to the United States. I was still jet lagged, because it takes 1 hour ahead, because now it's 7 hours ahead. It takes a day to adjust. So I was very exhausted, I had a lot of anxiety, because I need to get adjusted to this place, and my family, my bed, wherever I stayed with. So my teammates basically just threw me this big party at night, and I was already done at midnight, but at night they were having alcohol. They were dancing in the way would make me very uncomfortable. And they also were dressed half naked. And all I wanted to do was going home, or at least being in my bed. But I was very uncomfortable. I was like, I don't want to do this. Later on, my teammates kept on inviting me to those parties. And I didn't want to go, but I really wanted to try to make friends because as an international student, you want to have friends because you're here literally all alone. And I didn't have a car either. So one day we went and there was police. There was a fight. And as an international student, you don't want to be a part of any police guy because they will kick you right out of the country if you're going to be in trouble. So since that day, I told my teammates, I am never going to do this again. And then they told me, if you're not coming with us, you're not going to be a part of the team. I was like, well, then I'm not going to be a part of this team because I don't care. I don't want to be in trouble because if I'm in trouble with the police, I can get kicked out of the country. They won't. They will stay. And like Quincy, Illinois, they have barely any international students. So people are not used to people from a different culture. And in my team, I was the only one that was different than anyone else. They were all from around the area. Some days they went to the movies and then I heard about it afterwards in the locker room. Can you imagine how that feels when you know the whole team went out without you? You know how painful that is? You don't think that people actually like you because you might not speak that, you might not really understand them. You don't want to do what they want to do because they only want to get drunk. I already didn't feel a part of a culture because it's a culture shock. I need to get used to the American life instead of my Dutch way of living. And I was trying to adjust, but this wasn't helping. People were not inviting me to nothing. One day, they basically told me when they were already there, are you still coming? It's like, how? I don't have a car. Things like that happened over and over and over again. And every time it made me so sad. I just really felt like no one really wanted me there. Felt really, really unwelcomed. Called my parents every day crying. And I'm not a crier, but I cried every day because I was hurt so much. I told them how much the United States sucks because I wanted to pursue my dream, but is this worth it? Like I said, every international student comes here with a dream. But if it needs to go like this, I don't want to pursue my dream anymore. I don't want to do it. My teammates should have been my friends, but it didn't happen. They thought I was weird because of those cultural differences, but they didn't tell me that. They told behind my back. Yes, I eat sandwiches with cheese for lunch. Yes, I do. Yes, I use my knife when I eat. Not with cereal, but most things I do. Even with pizza, I do. Yes, I'm very direct, and I will tell you what I think. And I might come over rude, but that's what my culture is like. And I'm not just trying to insult you. I'm just trying to be honest. And as an international student, I can tell when people are genuine with me, when they are compassionate and interested in me. International students in general can very easily pick up if you're genuine or when you're fake. International can pick that up. So I went to a community college as well like this, but there was no community. It's very ironic because there's community in community college. I tried to others, try to make friends. I always felt like I was someone's friend in 10 minutes. In 30 minutes, I was their best friend. Next day, I was a nobody. That happened over and over again. And I didn't understand. It's like, is that because I'm not from here? Is it because they don't like me? Because I talk weird? I have that accent? I dress weird? I didn't know. Maybe because of my sandwiches? I have had people say things about it, so I'm not joking. I was ignored by them and they never talked to me again afterwards. Even when we were passing each other in the hallway. And I'm hard to miss because I'm 6'2", so I know you cannot just miss me. Sometimes what happens is that Americans love to say, I would love to hang out, I'm going to text you today. 4 years later, I'm still waiting on that text.
Yeah.
Still didn't receive it. Or Americans say we should love hang out sometime, but never make plans. So I read this quote, and it's about basically how Europeans view Americans. And I personally really agree with it, and that's basically what I've experienced here. Americans are a mile wide, but only an inch deep. Americans will tell you all about their life. They're very friendly and easy to befriend. You're easy to be friends with them. But to start a real, genuine friendship, a close friendship, really getting to know the person is very challenging. In my culture, it's the opposite. Europeans are not friendly at all. We are very close people. We don't really talk about our feelings, or if you ask a personal question, you will not get an answer. But once you're friends with them, it might take a while, but you're going to be lifelong friends. So that was very hard to get used to, because I really thought, oh, they're so nice, they want to be friends with me, but they didn't want to be friends with me. And also one of the weirdest things still till today, and I think most international students here in this room can relate to me, is when people ask me how I'm doing. When I walk in a store, they ask how I'm doing. And I'm like, well, let me tell you how I feel. I feel very homesick today. And then they look at me like, I can care less what you think. They can care one single bit. But I was like, oh, well, it's so nice that you ask me. They did not. That's still the weirdest thing, because it's just like a greeting, and I'm getting better at it now. So to go back to my story, I lived with one of my teammates, and I tried to explain how I felt, trying to explain what homesickness is like. She has been to Florida for like 2 weeks or 3 weeks for vacation. I said, yeah, I've been homesick, but then I go home and I feel better. And I was like, yeah, but it's vacation for 3 weeks. This is different. Did not understand. She could not understand. She was like, well, at one point you're going to go home. You'll get over it. You'll get over it at some point. I just really felt like no one understood how it actually feels, how to be homesick. And it's okay if you don't understand, but be compassionate. Be compassionate, like, I'm sorry you feel like that. Like, genuinely sorry, not like the American sorry. It's actually it was really funny, because my mom came to visit. This is on a side note, and then write this down. She came here, and it was very cold in Illinois. And she told my teammate, it's very cold here. And then my team was like, I'm sorry. And my mom was like, you're sorry for what? What did I do? She did not understand, but people just say, I'm sorry, just because she was cold. Another host family straight up told me, I cannot wait for you to leave the house. It was May. And then I was moving on to August. I really felt unwelcomed and unwanted. I felt like I was too much for everyone. As a community college, I need to commute. I live with a teammate, so people need to pick me up. It was like a 10 minutes, maybe not even 10 minutes of commute. I needed a ride to school and back. It always seems a burden when I ask people to give me a ride. Even when my teammate was already going home, we were living in the same place. She just left me one day. And I still need to ask for a ride to go to the same place and to find her in the kitchen, just making a sandwich. Like, really, you could have just taken me with you, right? Because I have to burden someone else again, because it's already a big deal. So I need to just ask again, and that's already awkward for me to be in this position, because I'm really independent. In Europe, you can walk everywhere, you can ride your bike, you can take transportation. In the United States, it's not that easy. It's very hard. And I have a lot of more of those examples, but that's what it comes down to. I just feel very unwelcomed. I remember telling myself every night, I survived another day. It's one day closer to home. I was counting down the days before I was going to be with my family that actually wanted me. They actually was excited to see me. And this part of my story, what happened when we aren't people show their own interest instead of someone else's. My teammates never asked me more than 3 or 4 questions over the whole 2 years. So I found this Bible verse which actually really spoke to me. It's Leviticus 19:33-34. Do not take advantage of foreigners who live among you in your land. Treat them like a native-born Israelites. And love them as you love yourself. Remember that you were once foreigners living in the land of Egypt. I am the Lord your God. Newsflash. International students are humans too.
Yes, they are.
We have 10 fingers. We have 10 toes. We wear the same clothes as you guys do. We're not completely different. But for some reason, when you meet an international student, people shut down. They don't know what to do. They do not know what to do or what to say. But let me tell you that God loves us. He loves foreigners as much as anyone else. And God tells us to love foreigners, to love them as much as we love ourselves. And people love themselves very much, a lot. Treat international students the same way as you would treat Americans. We want to be included. We want to be treated exactly the same. We don't want to feel any different. We don't want to be an exception to the rule, even if we aren't blending in treat us the same. We really need to be loved because our friends and family are far away. And let me tell you, it's been almost 5 years, and I still sometimes feel really alone because I'm still far away. My family's still far away from me. And my life completely changed once I got welcomed. I met this girl in a college group. It was actually my first night when I met Tiffany. We went bowling. This is me trying to pretend I had a good time. I did not want to be there. That was pretty clear. She did say it was a Christian group, so I knew beforehand, a Christian college group. I didn't know what it was. They had to explain that to me because I had no idea. But I was like, from all the people that I have to hang out with, it's going to be a bunch of Christians. I wasn't amused or didn't want to be a part of it. But I was very lonely, so I was like, well, bowling, great. I like bowling. Let's have a fun night and go bowling. So that night I went bowling with a few of the college group here, and actually she went to the community college as well, which I didn't know until I found out that day. So Tiffany came up to me. She was at the college pastor at that time. And she came up to me very excited. And I was like, and I really thought to myself, what is wrong with you? Lily, what is wrong with you? Why are you happy with this big smile? Because no one else seemed to care. People that are supposed to care didn't. And this woman did not know me. She did not know me. So why would she care if no one, like my teammates didn't care, my coach didn't care, the people I lived with didn't care? So Tiffany came up to me and basically said, like, I've been to the Netherlands. It's like, well, good for you. People have been to the Netherlands and they tell me if they've seen the airport. I don't know what to say after that. But she has been to the city where I'm from, which opened the door for me to go talk to her. Because if you are going to like China and someone has been to Lafayette, Indiana, you want to know more about that. So Tiffany has been to my city and it's not even a capital. I wanted to know more about why she has been there. The next time I saw her, she had pictures in front of my bridge. The weirdest thing, it's weird. Weird to think about that she has been where I live, where I stand, and she has been there. So from free pie nights on Wednesdays to basketball on Sundays, they invited me to everything they were doing. Every little thing I got invited. Then at one point I got invited to Sunday morning church, and I was like, well, my family doesn't want me where I live with, so I'd rather be with people that actually want me. And they wanted me. They cared about me. They asked me so many questions about my culture. So I went and didn't want to be there, very angry. Later on, I found out, it was at the end of March, I found out that they went to church on Wednesdays. I didn't get invited. And I was like, I was so insulted. I was like, you don't want me? Is it, you don't want me here? And then Tiffany was like, you know, it's a bunch of old people. It's going to be very boring. And it's a Bible study. I was like, yeah, so I want to be with you guys. So I want to be invited to everything you guys are doing. So I was more in the church than the pastor of the church, even though I didn't want to be there. I went home the beginning of May. I met them the end of March, and the beginning of May, school was over. That's about roughly 6-7 weeks. And we tried, and I had not any American experience. I had not a PB&J yet. I tried mac and cheese. They made me try mac and cheese. Cheese in a can, still very disgusting. I did not know how to work it, but I wanted to have that American experience. Also, what I got to do, and that was my dream, was riding in a school bus because that was really cool. And Tiffany got to do that. I don't know what the word is, but I got to do that. And we rode the school bus together because it's a really American thing to do. So in those very short amount of time, they really connected me, make sure I got an American experience that I didn't have for the whole other 8 months. Like I said, they invited me to everything. 1,000 questions that I got asked. People were like, I don't want to burden you with all my questions. They're like, please ask me. I want to explain my culture to you. I went anyway to anything they asked me because I wanted to have friends. I was so lonely that finally when I had friends, I wanted to do with everything they're doing, even if I hated it. I disagreed with what they believed in. But they cared. They loved me. and I wanted to be a part of that. So when I went home, I didn't tell anyone I was going to go home for good. Didn't tell anyone. Over a period of time, Tiffany and I just kept texting. Sometimes we Skyped with the college group. And I thought there was something different about them, which I couldn't place what that was. I remember making my decision that I was standing at the airport going back from my sophomore year, which I wasn't intending to do. Telling my parents the only reason why I'm stepping one foot back in the United States was because of Tiffany and her college group. Not because of basketball or school, because I can do that back home. I can be at a place where I can be comfortable. Why wouldn't I? But because I knew there was something so different about them, I wanted to get to know them better. I know now that was God's law, but back then I didn't know. I didn't want to know. I was an atheist. The more they talked about Jesus, the more I ran, the more angry I got. So my whole sophomore year, they made sure they didn't miss any home game because, like I said, I played basketball. They made signs for me. Have no fear, number 33 is here. I played 33 for 2 years, and my biggest fans. And then we also had my sophomore year, where normally all the parents coming. Even after every game, after home game, parents come. And I have no one. I had no one my freshman year. My second year, I had always Tiffany was in every game. Most of my friends were there at every game. On my sophomore night, Tiffany and I walked together. We walked together, and it meant a lot to me. Because I had no one. And Tiffany was that friend, my family here. They were very loud and always cheer me on. I could hear them from everywhere I was on the court. Although I tried to ignore them and try not to acknowledge them. But inside, I enjoyed a lot. And it was awesome. They still invited me to everything. They shared the gospel with me many times. They lived out their lives. They showed me what unconditional love looks like. I was very angry most of the times. Never wanted to be in church. Didn't want to hear anything about Jesus. The more I heard about it, the more angry I got. The more in church I was, the more angry I got. I have cussed Tiffany out many times. I picked up fight many times with her. But never, she said, I don't want to see you anymore. Never. Every time I did something I shouldn't have done, she's like, Murdo, I still love you. And I was not used to that. Because unconditional love doesn't exist back home. I never hear I love you from my parents. Never. Maybe once, twice, maybe luckily one in a year. I hear it from her quite a few times. And it never gets normal. It never.
Oh, Milo, we all love you.
Love you guys too. At one point in my sophomore year, one of my friends' dad passed away. Very sad. And I did not understand how she could still have so much peace and be very happy. So I was wondering, so I asked, how can you be still happy and have joy in that peace while your dad passed away? Because if my dad passed away, I will be crying and bawling and be depressed. She told me, my dad is in heaven. I have that peace. And because that peace comes from Jesus. And I wanted that peace too. But I didn't want Jesus. I wanted that peace. And it was like a spiritual jealousy because I wanted everything they had. In July of 2015, I got to know the Lord. And all because people fought for me, welcomed me, lived out their lives, showed me what unconditional love looked like, and shared the gospel with me. If they wouldn't have welcomed me, I wouldn't be here right now. I would be home in the Netherlands. Who knows what would have happened to me. But now because they welcomed me and included me in their lives, I got to know the Lord. I was discipled. I discipled others, and now I'm on staff with Chi Alpha. All because one person took the time to welcome me, to actually care about me. Just one, it takes one. And you reap what you sow. I am welcome, so now I want to welcome others. Discipleship starts with the first handshake, when you introduce yourself. And that's what Tiffany did for me. From day one, she took me with whatever she's doing. She went out of her way one day. We had like this thing at the park, like a game thing, different kind of games, tournament in the park. She had no time to pick me up, but I was not connected to anyone else. She still picked me up, went out of the way to do it. I helped her set up. Was discipleship without me knowing it. I was already helping. Went to Walmart with her every single time because I just want to spend time with her. I did everything she was doing, just the simple things. Go talk to people, I went with her. Go to Walmart at 2 a.m., oh, I want to go. Even though it's late, I don't care, I have practice at 6 a.m., I don't care, I want to go. You know, it's exhausting, but I wanted to be around it. And I didn't know it was discipleship. But afterwards she was like, actually I already discipled you even before you knew it. So this verse really stood out to me. It was basically what I feel like they did for me. And it's in 1 Thessalonians 2:8. Because we loved you so much, we were delighted to share with you not only the gospel of God, but our lives as well. And this is what we need to do with any international student here on campus. It's exactly what we need to do. Living out our lives while sharing the gospel and love them. Because that's what this verse says right here. Live a life that demands a gospel explanation. Sharing the gospel many times, you can share it 1,000 times if you want to, it's not going to help. Of course they need to know the gospel, yes, they need to know the good news of what Jesus has done for us. But when people see the difference in you and they don't have that, they want it. So what does the Bible say of why we should welcome others? We go to Philippians 2, 1 through 11. Is there any encouragement from belonging to Christ? Any comfort from His love? Any fellowship together in the Spirit? Are your hearts tender and compassionate? That make me truly happy by agreeing wholeheartedly with each other, loving one another, and working together with one mind and purpose. Don't be selfish. Don't try to impress others. Be humble, thinking of others as better than yourselves. Don't look out only for your own interest, but take an interest in others too. You must have the same attitude that Christ Jesus had. Though He was God, He did not think of equality with God as something to cling to. Instead, He gave up His divine privileges. He took the humble position of a slave and was born as a human being. When He appeared in a human form, He humbled Himself in obedience to God and died a criminal's death on the cross. Therefore, God elevated Him to the place of highest honor and gave Him the name above all names. That at the name of Jesus, every knee should bow in heaven and on earth and under the earth, and every tongue declare that Jesus Christ is Lord, to the glory of God the Father. Again, it says to care about others as much as we should care about ourselves. God cares so much about us that He had His only Son coming down to earth to just be like us. He had the same struggle as each one of us, same temptations. Jesus gave up everything to become a slave. Christ was God, but He didn't try to be equal with God. He died for us. We should become more like Him. This is the example we need to follow to welcome others. This is putting someone else above yourself, because Jesus didn't know us here yet. It's been so long ago, and He already died for us. That's exactly what we should do with our international students here as well. Put them above us. So there are 3 things that we should be doing to welcome others. First one is having compassion. Try to understand how they're actually doing, where they're coming from. When they miss home, just talk about home. Talk about homesickness. Even if you don't understand, it can be very comforting just to talk to someone. International students are far from home and have no family here, but you can be a family for them. One day, I just met Tiffany. I was very homesick. I missed home really bad. Tiffany was like, let's do a Dutch day. I was like, Dutch day? How do you want to do that? I was like, in the United States, what are you going to do? So we improvised, and we had like Dutch chocolate sprinkles on bread, what we normally eat for breakfast. And we had both orange, we were wearing orange because orange is a national color of the Netherlands. And what we also did was watching this TV show that was my favorite TV show. There was no subtitles, to be clear, so she had no idea what's been going on. She doesn't understand one word of it. I did, and I had a great time. I loved it. So she put me above herself because she did not understand a word. She could have been selfish, like, well, I'd rather watch my favorite TV show because I actually understand what's going on. She was like, no, I'm going to watch what you want to watch. I want to watch your TV show just to understand what you like, even though I don't understand the word.
Yeah.
After that day, it made me feel so much better. Actually, someone cared and wanted to get to know my culture. Second one is humility. We need to put others above ourselves, valuing what is important to them. In verse 3 of Philippians we were just reading, it says, we do nothing out of selfish ambition, but we should value others by humility above ourselves. Don't look at your own interests, but look at the interests of others. Have the same mindset as Jesus had. Jesus, who was God, used to make himself nothing. He was a servant just like you and me. He humbled himself to die on the cross for us. So we should humble ourselves for the international students here on campus. There are 200 of them. The word says we need to love them as much as we love ourselves. In our society, some people have more advantages than others. White people have more advantage than minorities. Guys have more advantage in jobs than women have. But Jesus did what his Father asked him to do. He obeyed him and glorified him. He takes us where he's at. We can help the international students where we're at. We can help them. If English is hard for them, well, just have a conversation and teach them English. We can exactly help them. If they need a ride somewhere, we can help them. If they want to eat Taco Bell, well, let's go to Taco Bell afterward. Just something simple like that, just to get that experience. We can just help them to get where we are. Third one is obedience. We need to obey Jesus because in this verse, it's actually in Matthew 28:19 through 20. It says, therefore, go and make disciples of all nations, baptizing them in the name of the Father and the Son and the Holy Spirit, and teaching them to obey everything I have commanded you. And surely I am with you always, to the very end of age. So Jesus says right here to make disciples of all nations. Once again, all nations. It doesn't say just the United States. It doesn't say even the Netherlands either. Like I said, it says all nations. Every single country in the world should be disciples, should hear about God, about who he is. Even the littlest country should know about Jesus because God cares about every single person. And he created those countries. So here are some practical tips that how we can be more welcoming. One is celebrate birthdays. Like I said, birthdays are a very big deal in other countries. They're far away from home. They want to celebrate their birthday. It's their day. And it's just easy. You don't have to go out of your way. You can just buy an ice cream cake and just get people together and eat ice cream together and then just talk about what they normally do for their birthday. If it's the first time you know them. If you know some international students for like 2 or 3 years now, if I know Brian, his birthday for next year, what's a Honduran birthday like the next time, I can do a Honduran birthday or a South Korean birthday because every birthday is different in every country. One time, it was my second year, I got to know Tiffany, and she was like, I want a song for your birthday, like what do you do? So we made like a cake that we tried, but a certain cake that we make in the Netherlands, we try to make it here. And just the effort, just to try to make like a Dutch birthday was awesome. Celebrate holidays from different countries is awesome because We don't know anything about it, but an international student can help you explain what it is like, what they do in their country, and they can celebrate it here. My church, my college group in Quincy did that for me. We threw a King's Day party. And what is King's Day? Most of the people you here don't know what that is. King's Day is celebrating the birthday of the king in the Netherlands. And it's a very big holiday. People wear orange. There's like garage sales all over the country. There's music everywhere. It's a big deal. I didn't get to celebrate it for 6 years now, or 5 years. But my college group, we played Dutch games. We all wore orange, just to I was be able to celebrate still my holiday. Or just like simple, like if we know some Chinese students, we can celebrate Lunar New Year. Or any other holidays that we might not even know about. There might be a Honduran or South Korean holiday that we're like, well, I have no idea, but I would like to know. I would like to celebrate with you guys. Celebrate their culture. As simple as, well, let's get together this weekend and make some food from South Korea. Actually, what we're going to do in April, we're going to have International Food and Game Night, where people be able to just cook food and play games from their culture, just to honor them and just be able to express where they're coming from. Ask questions. I had people coming up to me, it's like, I'm sorry, I don't know anything about the Netherlands, so I don't know what to do with you. That's as simple as it can get. You can ask so many, if you know nothing about the culture, there's so many questions you can ask. Just simple, what's the weather like? What's the food like? Just simple question, what's a national holiday? What do you like to do for fun? There's so many questions you can ask about a culture, even if you don't know even if you don't know where it is, you can ask where it is. International students love questions. Doesn't matter, you can ask 1,000 questions in less than 10 minutes. We don't care because we love to share about our culture. And we don't care if we need to do it over again. We will do it over and over again because it's the only way to make us feel at home and remember home. 5 is follow through with what you say. When you say, I'll pick you up at 7, pick up at 7. Don't never show up. If you say, I'm going to call you tonight to set up an appointment or whatever so we can go watch a movie together, make sure you call them. Because international students literally take every word by word what you're saying. Because they have no one else here. So they would trust you to be their friend. And their trust is going to be gone if you're not going to call them and when you tell them to call. Their trust is going to be gone if you don't pick them up when you tell them to pick them up. And the last thing is go out of your way. There might be a restaurant that your international friends really want to go to and it might be an hour and a half away. You can go there. I'm sure you have one day during spring break to drive up to Indy and go to that Honduran restaurant. Actually, what my friends did, here's a picture of us, is in Pella, Iowa. It was around 3 or 4 hours away from where I was at. It was a Dutch festival where we went to. We had Dutch food. Everyone was in orange. Well, this was close to orange she had. When we were in orange, and of course it wasn't like the Netherlands, but it was a little bit similar. And it was just awesome because they went out of their way. They took a weekend. It was a weekend time away from their summer break to celebrate where I'm from. Because we went to every single person's hometown. And my hometown, most people will not be there. But this was the closest I can get. And they went out of their way to hang out with me. So think about what you can do with your international friends. There are so many things that we can do to make them feel welcome. Never give up on them. It might take a while to be their friend. Or it might even take a while for them to get to know the Lord. And that's okay, because it's going to be worth it. Someone needs to fight for them. And God put them in your life for a reason. International students can reach their own country so much better than you can. They understand the culture. They understand the language. You can be a part to change the world. And isn't that cool to have that opportunity?
Yes.
And there's like one more verse I would like to share with you that really spoke to me. It's Romans 15:7. Accept one another, then just as Christ accepted you in order to bring praise to God. So it's very simple to welcome international students. Even if you don't know them, there's so many questions you can ask. And I want to challenge you for next week. We have all the time. It's spring break. We have a whole week off. And we're going to challenge you to hang out with an international student, international friend that you are connected to in class, in the cafeteria, or who else maybe just met in the hallway. And would you like to come up and just... So I really want to challenge you with what to do, and you might not even know what to do, and that's okay. You can ask God to help you and give you insight of maybe what you can do, or even who to reach out to. So I really want to take a time of prayer. You're welcome to go here up front to pray. You can sit where you're at, that's fine. But I want to give you that opportunity to just ask God, what can I do with my international student to help them feel welcome? Ask what person you should talk to. Maybe he has some specific person in mind for you, specific thing you can do. But I also want to give you an opportunity to get to know God, because God, His arms are wide open to receive you. He wants to welcome you in His kingdom. So I just want to have a time of some music, some worship, and some prayer to just think about how to welcome others and maybe to receive the Lord. And if you would like to, I will be right here to pray with you. And if you have any prayers as well, I'm welcome to pray with you. So take a time of prayer. And God, I just want to thank you for answering our prayers, Lord God. God, I pray that you will speak to each and every one here in this room, Lord, how to welcome other international students, Lord. And spring break is going to be a great opportunity, Lord God. I pray that you will help every single person in this room to what to do with their international friend, Lord, if they're connected, or even that they will get connected in this week, Lord, to a friend from a different country, that they're different than us. God, I pray for the internationals here in this room that they're not going to feel alone, that they're feeling a part of the family of God and be a family of us, Lord. So God, I just pray that you bless our fellowship tonight, and that you bless the last 2 days of school, Lord, and our spring break, Lord God. But thank you for who you are, God. In Jesus' name I pray. Amen.